All right, looks like I am live. I forgot to switch the source for the video, so I kept playing the intro bumper over and over. So that's why you didn't see me here. So hopefully you can hear me well. I'm seeing to see I got several people watching right now. For those of you who are jumping on live, thank you so much. But first off, I want to see if you can hear me okay. If everything is all right. Audio seems to be okay. I have a device here that I'm using to test. And I'm noticing like my image is like crunched. So it's just kind of funny. You'll see me, I look like a little guy. So still working out the kinks on going live here. So originally the camera that I used to do live streaming, I got rid of that camera. I got a new camera. And right now I'm using my iPhone to do the live streaming. And that's why I think it's messing up my landscape or the resolution. So it's one of the things I still got to work on. So I look like a little guy. It's kind of funny. But first of all, for those of you who don't know me, it seems my audio is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Claudio Zavala. And this is my first live stream for this channel. And pretty excited about doing this. And it's one of those things that I've been contemplating about doing for some time now. And I finally decided to, you know what, why wait any longer? You think about trying to wait to get more subscribers and more viewers. And it's one of those, you know what, just do it. And what happens, happens. And this is one of those first trial things. And hopefully the next one keep getting better. And then after pixelated, I'm going to apologize. There we go. It looks like it got back to the right resolution. This is what happens when you are relying on, and what I should have done is turned off the Wi-Fi and just go hardwired. So I'm going to do that here. Turn off the Wi-Fi. And hopefully I don't lose a signal here. Oh, it's terrible. One of the things that also I have to deal with doing this is the computer gets a little warm with video. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to disconnect something here and hopefully it'll improve. So if you are, again, on here, feel free to ask me any questions that you may have about behind the scenes. So this is really what I'm going to share with you is a little bit of behind the scenes. And I'm just going to roll with it here with the glitches and all. So give me a second to fix something here. We'll see how that goes. And you may hear a little bit of a humming in the background. That's my the laptop here running the fans. If you have a Mac, you may kind of encounter the same issues with the fans just always coming on because the computer gets hot. So just waiting for the video here to catch up. Let's see here. We're going to switch. Nope, that's okay. Well, let's roll. Here we go. And let me do a little adjusting over here. Trying to deal with these technical issues. It looks like the stream is healthy. It's funny that they say it's healthy. But I do notice there is a bit of a delay. I don't know how long we're going to last here. We'll see. But if you are, I see there's a couple people watching. And if you don't mind of dropping your name there in the chat there. Oh, it says chat has been disconnected. Well, well. You know, I thought this might happen. So, well, testing 1, 2, 3. Here we go. So it looks like a little bit of lag. I'm going to listen to my test here. All right, looks like we're running pretty smooth now. Okay. All right. I think we're all good now. So apologize for the technical difficulties. So you're getting to see a little bit of behind the scenes with the tech issues. If you deal with technology, and especially with internet, Wi-Fi, or anything like that, there's always glitches. Something's always going to happen, and you're going to do the best you can. So I'll go ahead and start off with talking about a little behind the scenes as far as when I put together a video. So normally on Tuesdays is when I release my weekly videos. I call them Tech Tuesdays, but they're not. I guess they are tech. That was kind of the focus I had at the beginning, that I would just focus on technology, but it's really all about video photography, apps that you can use to edit your images, create some nice videos, graphics as well. So I do some work with graphic design. And so things on the computer or on my mobile device. I use my phone extensively to create content that I'll share on social media. And so I wanted to kind of give you a behind the scenes look at how I put it all together, how I create these videos to share all that content. And so I have everything set up right here. I'd say, yes, everything is set up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my phone here. So I'm going to show you basically right now what you're looking at is my backdrop over there. Cool tip about lockers like that is you can use every little cubby, every little locker there to hide your gear, put stuff away. And it was great because nobody gets to see all the junk I have in there. I have stands. I have camera gear, lenses, books. I even have some CDs tucked away in there. The reason I keep those CDs because they're actually autographed by an artist, a drummer that I was huge. I'm still a fan of growing up. So that stuff I have there. Collectibles, and then on top of my locker, I have all these Star Wars and baseball paraphernalia, and then I got some books over there. So, anyways, so that's kind of the backdrop. So one of the things that I kind of decided on using that background is just so people can kind of get to know who I am and the stuff that I enjoy, that I do. And sometimes, like, I don't know if you can see on my left, there is my bass guitar, which I'm teaching myself how to play. And sometimes you get to see a little bit of the drum. So I will give you kind of a 360 view of the office here. You can get to see the playground. So excuse the mess. So here we go. We're going to kind of go travel a little bit here. So, all right. So a little closer. All right. So that right there, as I mentioned there, the drum set. And right here, I have a ring light that I use for, I'll use them for photography sessions. So I'll set it up. Recently, I did at work, I did some headshots and kind of put it together really quick. And I used that to take the pictures of the staff. And I have some backdrops in the lockers as well. So I use a backdrop, set that up. Really does a nice ring light effect in the eyes. You get to see kind of like a ring in the pupils of people's eyes. If you get really close to the picture, really nice effect. So that's what that's for. That's that ring light. And whoop, I have to tighten this up here. There we go. As I mentioned, there's the drums, and There's the door right now. I have it closed. I told the rest of the family, try to stay quiet. That's one of the challenges that I have is, trying to not to take over the whole house. And so I use my office here, and those panels are something that I made a while back in the garage. Created these sound panels. I had these moving blankets that I've had since we moved here from California, 13 years. They're made out of recycled jeans. So basically, I made these frames, cut up those moving blankets, stuck them in there, and then I wrapped them up, stapled it. Came out pretty cool. So let me do this. Let me go. Actually, I'll just keep going this way. See if I can give you a close up right here. That microphone that I'm using is what you're hearing right now. It is the Audio Technica. This is what the one I use when I am doing right now live stream. Whenever I jump onto Periscope, any other live type deal, that's what I use. Is this microphone, the Audio Technica, and it's an XLR. And so I'm gonna try to kind of show you down here. Again, it's gonna be kind of a, I can say shaky view, but right down here, this is my mixer board. So this is what I use along with the live stream when I hook up this microphone XLR. So I'm gonna kind of pull that out so you can see. I'm gonna try not to touch any buttons so you can still hear me. And it's a little my headphones right here that I use, multi-purpose, because I use those when I practice on my drums, but I also use them here to check the audio. And so I'm able to hook up 4 microphones, which if you had a while back, I posted some microphones that I purchased. In fact, I'll pull them up here and I'll show you. It's like, I'm super excited about those. But I have 4 XLR inputs there that I use. Right now I'm using one for the live stream, but I have 4 because, like I mentioned, play the drums, and I can use this mixer to actually record myself on the drums into the computer. Awesome. So multi-use, and I have some these, let's see, 1/4 inch, I think is what they are. I have some here, 1/4 inch, that are going out. You say it's called line out, that are actually going to those speakers right there. There's one right there on the right. Point that one, and then the other one's back over there. See if you can see my finger right back over here. And so I use those. Let me try to turn this back around. Kind of put this down for a second. And I'm using those for, I'm noticing my chat's still turned off, so I did not turn that back on, so I apologize. Let me put this back so you can see me. Let me see if I can turn that chat back on. That was not intentional, but I guess, there we go. No, I didn't turn the chat off. Okay. All right. Oh, well, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay, so as I mentioned, I was talking about those microphones. So I just picked up these microphones. Boom. These are some awesome microphones for instruments, specifically the snare. So as I mentioned, that is that I use to hook up to record myself when I play, and some little projects that I have on my slate to do, but it's just, I don't have enough time to do everything that I want to do. But I have a friend that played a guitar song, and what I'm going to do is add the drums to the track. So he recorded himself on guitar and singing, so I'm going to just add some drum tracks in the background, maybe bass. We'll see. All right, continuing on with the behind the scenes look. There, right there is the I'm not going to say it's my pride and joy, but that camera is I've recently purchased. I would say I've had it for about 6 months, and that's what I use to record my YouTube videos. And I'll kind of turn this on right here so you can see. I probably got a little too loud as I got close. I don't have the settings correct right now, but you can see right there as I'm pointing. This right here is a monitor that I have connected HDMI from the camera. This is what I use to kind of make sure that I'm centered into the frame, and I'll zoom in and out. And that microphone on top I use to capture kind of scratch audio, and scratch audio is audio that you kind of just use to sync up later, and I'm going to show you where I record audio in addition to the video file there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. So that battery wears out pretty quick. All right. I talked about scratch audio from the camera. So this other microphone, this is a shotgun microphone, and I'm using that to actually capture this recording as well as the other microphone that's being used to go live, which you're hearing me talk right now. The other microphone that I just showed you, the shotgun, is actually plugged into this Zoom H4n Pro. That's what it's called. It's a recorder. So I have that XLR plugged in here that's coming from the shotgun mic that I just showed you. And so what all you do is when I record my YouTube videos, and I'm going to try to set this back up. Hopefully it's centered here. I probably have to do the rest of the tour of the office here. I'll go ahead and do that. Just kind of want to set it down. So what I'll do is capture audio on the camera that I showed you, and then I'll capture this additional audio track, and then in Premiere Pro I'll go and sync up the audio with the audio that's recorded with the video. This audio coming from the shotgun microphone is much better than what's recorded into the camera. I have it set up so it just records kind of like, it's not perfect, but it's just enough for me to make sure that I can hear it. And once I sync it up, so basically, and I wish I could show you, but my computer's already getting overloaded right now. But basically, if I can show you this, my hand right here. So think of this as being the video file with audio, and then here's the other audio file. Let's see, let's make sure you can see me. There we go. So here's a video with audio. Here's just the audio track. So basically what I do is I sync it up, put it together, line it up. Once I know it's perfect, I make sure I do these clap tests when I record videos. I clap so that I can see my hands clap, and then I hear the audio in the track. I make sure that that matches up. And once it matches up like this, perfect. Sometimes I'll look at my lips to make sure I can see that it's actually saying what it's supposed to be. I'll sync them up, delete the audio file from the video, and then add this one. And you will never know that that's what I did. But that's kind of a little bit of behind the scenes on how I do the audio there. And it could take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes to record a video that I'll do for YouTube. And it used to take me a lot longer, so I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to get quicker because I want to get these things done and out and not take too much time editing. It's getting better. It's getting easier. I think I'm just very picky. And because I'm very picky, I take a little bit too much time trying to fix things. Here, I don't see any chat coming. I'm just keep checking in. And I may not have the settings right. If you just jumped in, if you're just joining, because I see there's 5 folks watching, thanks so much for hopping on. I may have turned off the chat feature by accident. So if you've been trying to chat with me there, I apologize for doing that. This is one of those things that I didn't check before. I did a test yesterday, but I didn't make sure that people can chat. So actually, here's what I'm going to test it. I'm like watching myself over here. Oh, it seems like it is working. Cool. Oh, yeah. Cool. It is working. Okay, so I didn't turn it off. Excellent. All right, where was I? Continue with behind the scenes. Let's continue rolling the camera this way. So let me pick this up. Try not to shake too much. And get a little closer. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. That right there is my iPad that I'm using to make sure that you can see me. So it's a different account that I have that I'm using to check. So it's a mess. It's a mess here. Let's see here. That right there is, it may blind you, but that right there is a light box that I use when I record. And that right there is an old desk lamp. This right here, old school. I picked this up at an antique store, like for 25 bucks. But it's great. Put in some fluorescent light bulbs that are kind of 5,000 Kelvin. That's kind of the measure of light. And I'll kind of put that on to kind of add some more light when I'm taking video. All right, that right there this is what you're looking at. If you had watched some of my videos that I've posted recently, I was down in Austin for South by Southwest, and I recorded a video. I captured footage and put together kind of a South by Southwest recap video. This is what I used to capture all that video. Basically, actually what I did is I used my iPhone on top of here, and basically what I was doing is testing out this new rig that I got from B-Script. It's a company that makes these mobile phone rigs. I placed this on top of there and went ahead and recorded. And it's great because it stabilizes the video. I'm able to walk and there's no shaking at all. So this right here is like a cool toy. It breaks apart into 3 pieces, 1, 2, and then this whole thing is together. So it's 3 pieces. So I'm able to put it away in this little backpack. Little suitcase, and then carry it with me, or I can just carry it with me like this, stick this part in my backpack, and I'm able to take it with me. All right. So let's continue rolling around here, give you some more behind the scenes. Hey, Sean, what's up? Thanks for stopping by and checking us out. Appreciate you checking it out. Let me do this. Let me go around, say hello, and come back this way. My cable's getting tangled. This right here is just like a bunch of stuff that I just have stored. That's like my storage. Paper shredder. Gotta have a shredder. Okay, this right here, these right here, I think one of the things that really helped improve the audio in my videos, apart from the microphone, but it really changed when I added these. And earlier, let me swing back and show you the panels on the doors. These right here, there's these 2 large panels. I'm going to go from top to bottom. They basically sit in the window frame. And I made these out of, they're just large, basically frames, cross frame. Same thing with the moving blankets, cut them up. And I have about 6 or 7 of them stacked. And I wrapped them up. And actually, the nice thing about these is I can easily pull them out and kind of rearrange them if I want to. If like when I do a recording on the drums, basically what I can do is take those off and kind of stand them against each other. So it kind of creates a kind of like an L shape. I'll sit it in front of the drum. So basically when I play, all the sound will basically go to the microphones and not have a lot of echo, which is great. So those were, I think those, I'm super excited that those were like, I got those made. I was like so happy when I put those in. Improve the sound. That right there is a hat hanger. Now, if you looked up there at the top, I love ball caps. That's like my collection of ball caps, and I do wear them all. Some more than others. Some teams I don't have, but if you can see, I am a native of San Diego, so I am a San Diego Padres fan. And then San Diego State. This right here. Let me bring this out. So talking about video, but also photography. So photography is one of my passions as well. And this right here, you're gonna crack up when I tell you how I put this together. I actually made this. This is called the Beauty Dish, and what you do is, I'm gonna turn this around. You basically put a flash here. There's a little, let's say, I can't even think of it right now. Oh my goodness. Ball head. Thank you. I remembered. Ball head. So you put a flash here and set it inside this little opening. And let me turn this back around. So when you take a picture, you're standing right here, or your model or whoever you're taking a photo of is standing, let's say, right here, looking in that direction. So when the flash goes off, it hits this little dish right here and then spreads the light out. It creates really soft light. It's used a lot in fashion photography. If you look into those magazines where those beautiful models and the dudes are wearing suits, women are wearing some really nice dresses, and they just got some really nice. Their skin looks so awesome. Well, they're using like these right here, beauty dish, and so this was actually a funny thing because at the time I just didn't want to spend the money. They were like $300, and I thought, you know what? I googled do it yourself, found the plans for this. This is basically like a large bowl, like a salad mixing bowl, like for large parties. This is like a little pizza dish, and so I used like a Dremel to cut out the hole on the other side, drilled these holes, put some bolts, and painted it like really this soft white. Painted the back, so it cost me like $30 to make. So it's great. The only thing now is I don't have a flash to use it with because I sold my previous gear, and so it's kind of been sitting here collecting dust, if you can see. Okay, moving on. That right there is a case it's a roll case that I use to carry gear when I take trips. My backpack's pretty much been my go-to for taking gear, but this one I use whenever I have to take like all my gear, like a lot of stuff. So I'll put stuff in there, and it's secure. It's safe from, if I drop it, nothing happens to it. It's got foam on the inside. And then those are the bikes. So as I mentioned, going back around the lockers, so you kind of see my environment. So that's why I take videos in here. Let me put this back. And see here. All right. Make sure I'm centered here. And so that's the behind the scenes look at the office and looking at the gear here that I use to put my YouTube videos together. And I kind of shared out earlier, I posted if anyone had any questions. There was none, so I'm just kind of roll with it here, unscripted, because this is totally unscripted. When I do my YouTube videos, in fact, let me say this about my videos, I actually do type out what I'm going to say, because as you notice, as I'm talking here, I may pause and say, I get stuck on what to say and sometimes get tongue twisted. Writing out, scripting the words that I'm going to say, for the most part, it's verbatim, but there's times when I'll alter what I'm going to say that's already typed or what's there. So that way I can kind of flow. If I say a whole sentence, a phrase, if I mess up, like maybe the first phrase is great, but then the second phrase is kind of a lot of mistakes in it. What's nice about it is I'll just keep recording. If I mess up, I'll just start over. In the editing, I'll cut and slice it, put it together, and sometimes you'll see kind of a transition that's kind of not shaky, but kind of, it may switch, like my head may be here, and then on the next, boom, it's just slightly moved over. And that's cool because it doesn't, I've watched other people's videos on YouTube, and they're kind of the same thing. So it's a nice flow. It's not like I'm making a Hollywood movie, so I'm not too worried about it. And that's kind of a trick. So if you are creating videos yourself, or if you're a teacher and your students are making videos, or your family and putting some videos together, I highly recommend putting a script together. It really does help get your words out in a nice fluid manner so that you don't sound confused or don't sound like you don't know what you're talking about. And a lot of times it's okay to go unscripted, like live streaming is unscripted. so not worry too much right now if I'm bumbling words. But when I get those YouTube videos, when I get those videos that I'm producing, I want to make sure that they are tighter, they flow, and there's not a lot of a lot of those words that kind of you're searching for words to say and you just kind of so that helps with that. So script things out. Storyboard's another tip that you can use if you are putting a story together, not so much a YouTube video, but you're recording a story. Storyboard it out. So if you're not familiar with what a storyboard is, you basically got these cells. Think of them like comic books. You put these cells together and make one scene at a time. You draw it out, sketch it out. You don't have to be a great artist. You don't have to be good at drawing. Stick figures. Just use stick figures to put it all together. It'll work. Basically, what you're trying to do is know where you're going to be filming from, where you're going to put the camera, how is it going to look like. So highly recommend doing either of those two. All right, let me try to fix my camera here. Go back, put it centered. It's bugging me because I'm not centered over here. And it's a little bit of a lag, so I may not see it right away. It looks okay. Let me see. We are at 30 minutes. I can't believe I've been talking for 30 minutes. Wow. All right. So this video production I was talking about, photography. So I got my camera there and I let me do this. There's two types of photography. Two types. Photography in general, but there's two tools. I say two cameras that I use there. That's a better way of saying it. I'm a mobile photographer, and I should say mobile. That's not right. I'm a mobile phone photographer. So I use my phone to take pictures because it's in my pocket. I have it with me everywhere that I go, and I'll share them later. I'll link them up. But I use these mobile phone rigs to take video and pictures. And I also use a jump here, jittery there. Whoa. And I think I moved the camera there. Totally unscripted here. All right. And then I also do photography with my mirrorless camera. If you're not familiar with mirrorless, I'll just kind of give you a little explanation. So mirrorless cameras tend to be smaller than a full frame DSLR camera. DSLRs tend to have a mirror inside. Hence, that's why these are called mirrorless. So with the technology that has advanced crazy bounds, leaps and bounds, that they're able to take out the mirror from cameras and use processors that capture images and save them to the SD cards. Mine has an SD card. So in essence, basically, they're able to minimize the size of the camera. And that was one of the things that I decided to change from a DSLR to a mirrorless camera was size. The size factor, being able to have this easily in my hand. And another thing is I can easily hold it with one hand and take a picture as well. Great. I'm just like amazed by the science behind it, technology behind it, to be able to remove the mirror, not have it. So basically the mirror used to take space like this, and that's why cameras were so big. So by taking out that mirror, they're able to make it thinner. And of course everything just keeps getting smaller, and so they're able to add all those chips and whatnot into the camera. So awesome. So I use both. I use, like I mentioned, the mirrorless camera, and I use my phone to take photos. And if you have been watching my channel, I share a lot of tips on what you can do to improve your photos. And whether you're using a mobile phone or a camera, those principles still you can be used on both. So Maybe one tip I'll share right here, not take too much time, is framing. I one of the things that I like to do, or I'm say like to do, just one of the things that I do when I'm out taking pictures, whether it's of someone or an object, is framing the picture. So what I mean by framing, so I'm going to do this with my hand here, is, let's make sure I'm kind of looking over there. So if I were to take a picture of myself, you know, I would frame it between either like right now you see my hands, or I would use fences. Sometimes there can be a broken window in the little spot of the window that's open, and you could take a picture through there. Open windows, even just from a car, frames. Just think of looking at spaces that you wouldn't normally look at. Look at objects from a vantage point that you normally would not. So framing images, that's what one of the things you can do, whether it's mobile phone photography or camera photography. Works both. The principle works for both. So so that's kind of like my little photography tip. Let me kind of do a little peek at the chat here. Oh, hey, John, what's going on? You tell me if I need to be able to. That's so funny. Thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, everybody needs these tech tools. We all need more. I'll say this right now. One of my next toys that I want to get. Well, let me backtrack. Yesterday I got to visit, and I can't say too much because the NDA, but I was able to say I can share this. But Dell has this widescreen monitor, 49 inches, and I mean that sucker is huge. And I'm like, I want that. I posted. My wife was like, "Yeah, what is that?" I said, "Well, that's a monitor." Carly, hey, how are you? Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you all jumping on here and joining me. So as I'm mentioning, the toys, technology to get 49-inch widescreen monitor is amazing. So basically, it was curved like this. So when you look at it, it's curved. So you know, the way your eyes kind of move, you really don't have to do this a whole lot. Just basically when you're looking at it, you're even from any point because that monitor is curved. Perfect widescreen. So like if you're watching movies, it's perfect. And especially that I'm editing movies, I can put it up there. So, but it was pretty pricey, so it's kind of off the list for now. But then the other thing that I kind of want to start getting into is aerial photography and also video using a drone. So with the drone, I can take aerial photography, and then there's some really cool things that you can do when you're capturing video. We call it hyperlapse, where you start off at one point and it kind of back out with the drone, because you can program those things and it'll just do it and record as it's going reverse. And it's really cool styles of videos that you can make with it. And you can basically make it follow you too. So one of the other things I want to do is, because I cycle, and when I ride the bike, I can have that thing follow me or be at a certain point and film kind of a whole section of a trail, and it kind of, as I weave in and out of the trail, kind of film myself there. That's what I want to do. But so I got to save up some money for that. But that's the next. I said it here. I'm just gonna say it. Maybe someone out there, companies listening, and they're like, "Hey, we'll send you DJI Mavic 2." I think so. I got to be specific. That's what I want. Cool. Hey Jake, how are you? Thanks for hopping in. I had like really bad network issues at the beginning, and I think what solved it is I was connected Wi-Fi and hardwired on my laptop, and I think it was confused between the two. So I went ahead and disconnected the Wi-Fi, and since then everything was running well. So if you hopped on earlier and you're seeing the recording, I was like pixelated. It was crazy. Anyways, all right, I'm going on 40 minutes here, and I'm like running out of things to say. But thanks so much again for hopping on. I really do appreciate it. I will say this. I had this. I got to participate, and maybe I'll wrap up with this. This weekend, there's a group here in Fort Worth. I'm going to give them a shout out. It was great because this event was awesome. Streets of Fort Worth. That's their hashtag, and then they're on Instagram at Streets of Fort Worth. I'm gonna make sure I got it right because I don't want to give out the wrong handle. Yeah, Streets of Fort Worth. So they put on this event, and there was another. There was a store, Fort Worth Lab. So they do they print photos. So anyways, they put together this event on Sunday called Insta Meet. And I think they have these different Insta Meet. So hashtag Insta Meet. This one happened to be for photographers. And there was about 50 people there. And there's a area in Fort Worth called Stockyards, which is like kind of like old cattle roundup area that historically that's where they used to use like rodeos and stuff like that, but it's like a very touristy area. There was about 50 photographers there, and just got to meet other photographers in town. It was really cool. And there was a group that went and did portrait photography, and then there was a group that did street photography. So I started off with street photography, and I've actually shared a few on Instagram, and it was really cool because it was challenging for me because that right there is like one of the harder types of photography for me. Is you are basically it's not like people aren't posing. You're just capturing kind of environment stuff, signs, people just talking. That they happened to be a cattle run at the time we were there, so I was able to take some picture of some longhorns that were walking through. And I actually I was kneeling down. It's a funny thing. I was kneeling down taking a picture of one, and the guy walks up and he's like, "Get up, you need to stand up." And I guess if you're down low, the longhorns think you want to battle them or something. I don't know. So needless to say, I got the picture, but I stood up really quick. But it was cool. But the other thing that's hard for me about photography like that is people that are out there, because there is no because you're in a public space, people can photograph you. So that's, if you don't know that, you're in a public space. You're kind of open. And so if there's photographers out there, they can take pictures, and, you can ask them not to, but it's kind of like, not so much it's a right, but because you're in an open space, you kind of, you're open to that happening. So just kind of FYI. But it was really cool. Anyway, but the hard part is that right there is I'm out there taking pictures, and there's people, kind of having conversations. So try to subtle, I don't try to stay there waiting for them to talk and take pictures. Just kind of like, oh, take, like four to 10 pictures, just take pictures, and then move on, go to the next spot, take pictures. So shadows, signs, things like that. So I was with a group of people doing that, and then there was some models there, and I've never done it when there's photography with like actual models. So that's like what they do. They'll sit there and pose like really nice, and I would just crack up if I tried to pose the way they were posing, but they're like professionals. And so there were kind of groups taking photos of the model. So I was able to take several of there was male and female models, which is pretty cool. And it's just kind of practicing that, taking pictures of portraits like that, and kind of like almost like fashion style. So I'm still editing some of them, and I've released a few of them, but it's kind of challenging myself, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I went there. And thanks, Carly, appreciate it. And so that was the reason why I kind of went to that, and they are going to be putting on another one, so I'm pretty excited, and just getting to connect with other photographers, and you never know, do projects with them. So I'm going to go ahead, and with that story, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm looking at my recorder over here, getting close to 50 minutes. Wow, can't believe that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and we should just wrap this up soon because I also feel hunger pangs. I didn't eat on purpose because I did not want to be stuffed while recording this video. But thanks again, Carly, John, Sean, for hopping on and watching, and also for Jake for watching as well. And I'm going to go ahead and close out the evening here with thanks again for watching. For those of you who first time watching this, thank you. And if you are not following me, I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. I'm going to do the whole spiel. These are all the places you can follow me: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, YouTube.com/I am Claudius, and then my website, iamclaudius.com. If you're interested in kind of doing a project together, feel free to send me an email or DM me on any of those social media sites. Once again, thanks again for stopping by. I kind of repeated that. This again, it's unscripted. Doesn't matter. Until next time, say peace, be good to one another, and I